My name's Azariah Reynolds. I go by Z, and that's me. I am the co-founder of the La Sierra Hoedown with Drew Fisher. Well, it's actually a bit of a long story. When I was 3 years old, my mom brought me up here in a backpack and put me on the back of her skis, and I held on to her knees, and she pushed me across in front of the lodge, and that was my first time ever on skis, and pushed me across the lodge and then back down to the squaw palma that's down this way. And that was the first time I ever skied, and I love skiing to this day, so that's a pretty memorable experience. When I was a little kid, my mom worked on the Rainbow Palma up here. She was the lift op for the Rainbow Palma, and I really didn't have any babysitters or anything like that. She would just bring me up here and drop me off at the ski hill, and I would ride the Palma lift, and she'd be at the top, so I'd check in with her, and then I'd go down to the lodge and get whatever food I wanted, and I could just pretty much have free range of this little spot. So for first 11 years of my life, all I did was ski Johnsville all winter long, and so it was a pretty special place for me growing up. And later on in life, as I got older, Johnsville closed down, and around like 1996, Johnsville closed down for good, maybe even a little bit prior to that, and hasn't operated since. And I came back here in 2002. I came up here and I was looking for a venue to do a show with the String Cheese Incident, and I came up here for a job interview, and I just came up here to look at the place, and I saw it, and I suddenly looked at it. I was like, wow, you could do a concert here. And I looked at the deck and I said, wow, you could put a band right there, and you could have people camp in back of it, and you got all these trails and all this bowl, and it's a natural amphitheater. And I saw it and I was like, wow, this could totally work. And so I went back to the state parks and I talked to them, and they said, they really kind of scared me off with a lot of expenses, and the capacity isn't real high. So with that many expenses, it would be really hard to throw a concert here. So I kind of ran away back in 2002 with my tail between my legs, thinking, oh, that would never be possible, and after talking to the state park rangers. So that was in 2002, and fast forward to 2013, and so Drew and I met, and I sponsored him as a skier on Ski Logic, and he was a coach and a freestyle skier. And so I sponsored him, and we started doing ski trips together. And I thought, oh, I need to take this guy up to the spot where I grew up skiing. It's an amazing spot to ski. And so we came up here, and it was Drew, myself, and another guy, Tyler Homan. And we did a skin trip up here, and we skinned past the Rainbow Palma. And I stopped in front of the Rainbow Palma and kind of told them the story that I just told you. And then I said, oh, I told him about growing up here, and I told him about my mom working there, and then I said, hey, I also had this idea one time to do a bluegrass festival here, but it would never happen. It's too expensive and too remote, and not enough resources here, but couldn't you just see it? And I pointed to the stage, and I pointed to all the stuff, and they kind of looked at me and I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea. And so we skinned to the top of the peak, had an epic powder day skiing the top of Eureka Peak, skied back down. We're drinking beers in front of the Rainbow Palma, and I kind of mentioned it again. I said, hey, couldn't you just see it? That'd be cool. And that was it. I said it more in joking. It was mostly a joke when I said it. I wasn't saying it like, oh, I want to do this, or I have thoughts of doing this. I was more just saying, oh, yeah, like 11 years ago, I randomly thought of this here, but gave up on it. And 3 months later, Drew calls me, and he says, oh, I'm getting ready to graduate from Sierra Nevada College, and I have all these college students, and they all need to do volunteer work to graduate from college. They needed to get like 60 hours of volunteer, and I think it needed to be for a nonprofit. And so Drew says, he says, oh, I heard you mention that you gave a pair of skis to a nonprofit up there that raises money for the ski hill. And I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. And he goes, well, why don't we do your idea for a concert and make that happen and do a fundraiser, and I can help staff it with all these college people that want to do volunteer time, and maybe that'll make it more popular because we have all these built-in, really awesome people that are already there to work it. And so after that, Drew introduces me to Rachel and Cody. Rachel and Cody were part of Drew's class, and they were all part of this class project to do this concert. So they were going to make it their class project to do this concert. And so they enlisted me to kind of help them along the way and help get it started, and then get the platform built for it. And we kind of we built a really awesome group of people out of it. And Yeah, and next thing you know, we knocked down a few doors, called the parks. People liked the idea of doing a fundraiser, and they liked what we had to say about it, and so we started putting together a site plan and how we would do it and where everything would be. And then once we got the site plan through, we submitted a plan, it got approved, we got a date, and suddenly we started booking bands and off we went. I mean, we have a lake, we have a peak, you know, we have a historic lodge, and it's pretty much everything that you could ask for a mountain festival. But we don't call it a festival, it's a hoedown, for that exact fact, because festivals have fences.